Right now. Hello.
Hello.
Right now what I'm doing is I'm making any random shape to kind of find something inside of the shape. I know I'm going to draw a monster, but I don't know what kind. So I'm just doing kind of a Rorschach kind of styled scribbles that are so light that they should disappear by the end.
So, I mean, it's kind of like that thing, like what I think of is when it's dark at night and you can't see anything, but you can kind of still see the shadows of things in your room, and just everything just looks like a freaking, like, werewolf mermaid, like, ready to, like, jump out and kill you because of the way that the dresser aligns with the TV or whatnot. It's kind of like you see shapes and things all the time, and that's kind of what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Right now, I'm going into the eyeball. I'm not sure if that's going to be a nose or an eyeball, but I decided making an eyeball, so I put an iris in it, kind of a snake-looking iris, and now I'm just going back to different parts of the teeth. And around this time, I'm going into different areas, but I'm getting bored of I get bored of areas real easy, so I'll move to other parts, which don't seem to make any sense. I'm bouncing all over the place on this particular drawing. You have anything to add, Shelby?
Oh, yeah, so I guess that's probably a good idea. Like, when I used to do art, I never really thought of that, just to kind of keep yourself into it, working on different areas, because that way you kind of get to visualize more what the monster is, instead of, you can kind of, like, play around with it more and visualize it before you, instead of just, doing it the forward way and, kind of, like, assembly line of shit, like... Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. That's a long pause. I'm going back in that lower tooth, because that lower tooth is probably the closest thing to the camera out of everything. Is that lower tooth right there. So I'm darkening that to bring it forward. I'm also darkening it so that I can push back that shape under in its mouth. I'm kind of thinking of the light source, but not really strictly right now. But I know within the mouth is going to be dark, and then usually it's the top. Light is coming from the top to the bottom.
Oh yeah, that looks like the way you've been shading it so far.
Going into the arm. Because I didn't even finish the front section, you can tell. Usually I do all the line art in one, and then I would go into the shading.
This is done with a pen, right?
Yeah.
That is so badass. Like, can we just take a moment to appreciate how sick that looks, and it's pen.
Oh, my heart hurts.
Oh, that just looks so sexy when it blends like that. I'm sorry, it just does. You need to get excited about this. If I could draw like that, I would just die. I would shade myself every day.
Paused for a while. I'm going back underneath to do the dark pattern. Another thing that I would have done after after I say I would have done shading after the line art, but after the line art I would have actually done I would find the dark, the lights and the darks first, and then I would shade after that. So I'm doing kind of...
But you're not doing that right now.
I'm not. I'm going into kind of the structure, and then even the anatomy, and then I'm going back to kind of trace it over.
Well, I mean, it is a random monster drawing. I don't think it would be very random if you did it the traditional way.
Okay.
That was funny.
I'm going to the deltoid, and then I'm going to the bicep, and then the forearm. It's kind of missing a brachioradialis, which I just learned the name of that, so that I'm using it all the time.
Would you say that you would have to understand the musculature to be able to do a drawing like this?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I would say yeah. Because right now I'm remixing anatomy, especially that arm. That arm is just like a human arm, really. Okay. Just a jacked up human arm.
I was going to ask you, is this based off human anatomy? Or...
Yeah, this one's just a screwed up human arm. His mouth is more just... Yeah, it's also made up. It's not human anatomy.
The mouth kind of looks like a hippo.
I never thought of that.
It's like a hippo on steroids, man. It's like, oh, that's perfect. It's like the All States guy mated with a hippo, and then they took steroids together.
Going back into the teeth. It took a long time on this one.
Looks so good. Oh my god, look at that. Look at how good it looks when it blends. I'm sorry, but come on. That's just so cool. That's pen, you guys. Pen. I can't even make a freaking straight line in pencil.
When I'm shading right now, I'm putting a bunch of really thin, wispy lines. I'm putting in full-blown shadow on the bottom, you know, the really dark, large shapes, and then this is like halftone. It's usually along the side of the skin where there's some light, but there's some dark. Mm-hmm. And it kind of gives the creature complexion a little bit. So it doesn't look like a totally white thing.
Yeah, we don't do whitewashed over here. We're into diversity.
That hurt.
Just accept it.
The long pause.
Yeah, you're masturbating because it's so damn sexy.
I don't know if you can say that on my channel. That one I don't know.
You can blot that out.
I might, yeah. There's always something... When I do a drawing, there's always something I'm sick of. Like, sometimes when I draw a human, I'll get sick of drawing the hand, you know? I'll go back to it later. And that's what I'm doing with that tooth in the back, on the lower jaw. I'm just kind of sick of it. I'm like, I don't feel like doing that. Because that's going to take me... It's going to take more thought, though. I have to even it out, and then I have to fix... I have to make it the same size as the other tooth, or at least close to it. Here's something. When I try to even something out, like the two lower teeth, I'll either make it really, really wrong, or or try to make it as close as I can, you know?
What do you mean?
Because they're on the same mouth, right? That lower part of the jaw. So I would either try to make it, like, one tooth really tiny, like if it's supposed to be tiny, it doesn't look like I just drew it small, because I just made a mistake.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I know.
So, like, you just want to make it really obvious your intention of what you're doing, whether you're trying to make it symmetrical, whether you're trying to make it asymmetrical.
Right. Going back there with halftone. I don't know if I went over that halftone. It's just a half value that I put on everything.
A half value?
Yeah, like not like a full-blown black, like a...
Yeah.
I was going to say gray, but I guess... Yeah, I don't know what this is. I guess it's grayish. The whole paper's kind of grayish.
Yeah.
Going down, cleaning up the lines. Those little wispy lines I make the shadow up with, sometimes they just look jumbly and gross, so I kind of go back over them with more wispy lines to kind of get them out. And every line follows the form. If I think of this as a 3D object, if I was to think like, hey, this really exists, those little wispy lines will always follow the direction. Like almost like you're drawing a line on an actual 3D object. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like you're following the form?
No?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like right there I would be.
Yeah.
I think about it all over, though.
Are you cross-hatching it, or are you...
A little bit.
Okay.
But the cross-hatching is kind of like... Not like comic book cross-hatching, where they're meant to... You kind of meant to see the lines, because that's the style of it. This one, I'm trying to blend most of the lines in.
This is the grown-up cross-hatching.
Oh, yeah. But that's saying it would be better. It's not.
No, it's not bad. It's not saying it's better.
Because cross-hatching is really hard.
Yeah, I understand.
I find it very hard to do. Just to leave it there.
I think it would be harder to make the lines pronounced than to let them blend.
For me, it is. Thinking. I'm trying to think of the focal point of the whole thing. Usually, the focal point is where the darkest dark and the lightest light touch. Normally.
Really?
Yeah, normally, but I don't know. Right here, I don't know if there's really any particular one. Usually there's a couple of them all over.
Well, also because of the perspective where you have the face really big. That's obviously supposed to be in front. I mean, it's coming out at you when the body is going to be trailing behind it somewhere, you can see.
Right. Going to the eye. I don't know. One thing I didn't mention is sometimes I'll render out, like render by the way, render by render I mean shade or finish. Sometimes I'll try really hard to render the eyeball before everything because it kind of gives me confidence that at least that's okay. Then I can move on and try to figure the rest of it out.
Mm-hmm.
Going into the back, the hand is something I want to leave out. I didn't want to leave it out, but then I'm like, oh, now I have to go and think.
Mm-hmm.
I have to think of what direction. If this is gonna be like a little T-Rex hand or whatever.
And why work on the hand first?
What do you mean?
Or like before the rest of other things? Like why are you focusing on the hand even though you
It was a long
froze
pause.
Seriously, what are you doing?
But I'm doing that because it comes in front of the rest of the body.
Okay.
It's in front of the back part of his body. And I want to get that right first before I put in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to the deltoid. No, what am I doing? Under the bicep. I don't know. I forgot what this part. The forearm. I don't know all the numbers. I don't know all the muscles of the forearm by name, which is too bad. I'm gonna work on that.
All those bodybuilding videos you've watched for nothing. I love the look of the stray lines, kind of like, after you get out of like a hot tub or something and your arm hair is kind of sticking up like that, like around his arms. I dig that. Looks cool.
I'm not sure what I'm doing.
Shading like a mofo.
I think. What am I
Well, it looks like you're just trying to draw a lot of detail on that arm, because like you said, it's what's in the foreground.
I'm putting in a slight core shadow. Core shadow is where it gets slightly darker before it hits the rest of the shadow.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of makes things look nicer if you put them really hardcore. I don't think I put any really hardcore here. I've kind of got one right there in the neck, in the folds of the neck. It's kind of darker.
Oh, I see what you mean. It's like a really dark spot for the big part of the shadow?
Right.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, where there's a large part of the shadow, right before it hits the light, it gets really dark, right before it goes into the light.
Okay. It's interesting.
Yeah, we can overuse them, though. We used to really overuse those in school. And, because you can kind of cheat things like that, too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to go over light. I'm trying to get really light with this pen,
that
too.
That looks really light,
Yeah. Because if I go too dark and, I can't erase it. And that's all because I'm, like, leaning... I don't know. I guess it's just manipulation of how soft you go down on
that. That looks really nice. That looks really soft. It's like reindeer tears. And then that's the shadow of the arm, I'm guessing?
Yeah. Yes, it is. Let's see. I'm going over... I'm thinking of maybe just putting an overall value on the bottom part of his chest. I was thinking about maybe having that kind of light, but... I bounced over the face again. And... Oh, another thing. When I'm putting in these wrinkles, I'm trying not to make them too overly repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if some are at least the same length, I'll try to make one darker than the other. Or if they're both about the same kind of value, I'll try to make one a little bit longer than the other one.
It makes it look so much more realistic when you have more complicated wrinkles. I mean, if you look at, like, a person, if they, like, bend their neck some really weird way, it's not going to be, like, similar wrinkles. They're all going to be really weird and...
Because it's organic. I'm trying to make
up.
it seem like it's
yeah,
organic.
I mean, it makes you believe that it's real, like that it's a real skin texture. It looks so real.
Very nice.
I'm ready to see this thing come out at me like tonight. Like honestly, it looks that real.
I hate it. No. Putting in a scapula. I really having trouble with that. I don't know why. I've never been great at drawing that part. Like, at this angle. I'll work on it. I'm putting in the tricep. The horseshoe shape. The horseshoe shape. I miss that.
You missed one.
I used to have really good triceps. Like a... Okay, going to what is that? Spines in the back?
Scales? Yeah.
No, scales.
Well, they're a type of scale.
Yeah, They're more spiky. And I'm thinking like reptilian in my mind.
Yeah. Well, scales.
Dinosaur. Yeah, I
Still
know.
scale.
I know.
They're just like the other kind. The spine thingies.
Now I'm thinking about, like, I'm working on everything. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to end it. I don't really know how I'm going to end it. Like, if he's going to have deer legs, or if he's going to have goat legs, or if he's going to have a worm,
that would be really creepy.
Worm behind. I don't know yet. I default on the worm behind because it's so easy to draw. It's just one long tube. So, it's like, whatever.
I kind of want to see a deer legs version now, honestly.
Thinking. Okay, I'm trying to make that separate, or at least yeah, because the arm is in front of the other one. I'm trying to see like if I can separate it, or if that line right there is enough to separate it. Never even thought about that. If I squint, it all goes together. I don't know if that's good. I think that's bad. I think I would, if I changed that, I would separate it more. Am I doing that? Am I gonna do it? I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna do it.
Oh god.
I think it's gonna stay that way.
Suspense is killing me.
Going in there to the front, kind of thinking about a human torso a little bit. I'm going to the solar plexus. When I started this, I didn't know how long it was going to take. It took me a lot longer than I thought, because the pen I have to, you know, it's really small, wispy kind of thing. So I have to kind of force myself to finish this.
Just be glad it didn't, like, explode halfway through, as would happen in my life.
Okay, I am doing that. There you go. I'm separating the back arm a little bit by making it a little bit darker.
By making the body dark?
Yeah, I'm making the body a little bit darker. That's a choice, by the way. You could maybe make the arm darker, too.
Yeah.
So it's just something you can pick, what kind of look you want.
So that would be, like, one of the things where you're altering the composition, like, even if... I don't know.
I don't know about the composition. I just think that you can...
I just mean, for instance,
It'll be too heavy, I think, if the
Yeah.
arm is... the value has weight. The darker something is, the more heavy it is sometimes.
Yeah.
So it would make the arm a little too heavy, and I want the body to be heavier, since the torso would be heavier than the arm.
I mean, I really hope you're not drawing this from looking at this, but if you were, you know, sometimes you have to make small changes to what you see to make it make sense in a composition. That's what I was thinking.
Okay, we're 1 minute. It's 1 minute till. I think I ended this abruptly. Right?
I did what? Oh yeah, you did.
I'm going back on the hand. I'm thinking of small details. I'm probably not even going to detail the very end of the tail, because I think it looks kind of cool.
That unfinished look.
Yeah.
I like that look. Kind of reminds people, like, I drew this, you know?
Going back on the hand still. I don't know what I'm doing. Really just fiddling with a hand. It's just my stomach. Going back in there, putting more separation between the hand and the torso.
That looks really good.
I'm bouncing on all over now. I'm just trying to look at it. I think I'm about, like, how can I leave it, you know? You gotta end it attractively in some way. That's it. Do you want to say goodbye, or?
Goodbye?
Yeah, that's the end of the video.
I don't know. It ends abruptly. Should just